On today's episode, I'm going to explore something that we have heard before and something that always makes us look for a deeper meaning to what is being woven into the fabric of our everyday lives. Looking deeper into situations that feel overwhelming or have you asking, why me? Why now? I'm your host, Sabrina Cooper, registered dental hygienist, culinary nutritionist, and herbalist, and mindful eating meditation coach. Today we're talking about something deceptively simple. Silver linings, or as I like to call them, silver threads. It's a phrase we throw around often. Every cloud has a silver lining. But what does that really mean? Is it just wishful thinking dressed up as optimism? Or is there something deeper, a hidden truth that teaches us how to walk through storms with our heads held high and a sense of grace? Today's episode is a gentle dive into that idea. The light behind the dark, the beauty in the breakdown, the quiet truths that emerge when life doesn't go according to plan. Where do we start? Well, I think that knowing what the literal meaning of silver linings is important. Silver linings comes from the natural world, when sunlight peeks from behind the dark clouds. It outlines the edges with a soft glow, a shimmer, a halo. It's like a beautiful sunrise or sunset that we've all seen many times before. Psychologically, the concept mirrors something we call cognitive reframing, where the brain chooses to view a difficult event through a different lens. It's not about pretending things are fine, it's about finding meaning with the pain or discomfort and angst. Like post-traumatic growth, where people after great adversity discover unexpected strength, clarity, or compassion. They see the event in a different way and gain some positive perspective from the trauma they went through. There have been many times in my life that got hard and overwhelming, unbearable, especially when I was trying to have a child of my own. My husband and I had to make some really tough decisions. I wasn't really sure how to manage my feelings, and I'm pretty sure those around me didn't know how they could help. I took a yoga teacher training and took the time to look within, gave myself time. And what I learned from all of it was that I was going to be okay, and that even though I wouldn't have my own children, I could help lots of children and volunteer with organizations that helped youth and children. It wasn't that I would become a yoga teacher, but that course was my stillness, that moment in time to realize that a child didn't have to define me. And even though it was hard, I'm not going to lie, I was able to stay strong and figure out ways to see the silver threads, and I continue to do so. Silver linings aren't sugarcoating, they're alchemy. They're the ability to say, this hurt, and yet I grew. This ended, and still I became more of myself. Sometimes the lining is so faint that we miss it at first, but it's there, in hindsight, in healing, in the stillness after the storm. And this is exactly how I felt after I healed from the trauma of not being able to have my own child. And yes, my healing took time. I cried ugly tears, I was angry, I grieved. But as time passed, I saw that thread, or that lining that I needed. Let me tell you about a friend of mine. She lost her job during a company-wide layoff. Her world, her identity, it all crumbled. She fell into a deep, dark place. But in the quiet moments that followed, something happened. She started walking every morning, getting in her kitchen and cooking, journaling, and she discovered for the first time her love of being in the kitchen that she took for granted while she was working. After some time, maybe a year or so, she took some cooking courses and began doing something that she enjoyed and started her own catering company. She says she's making less money, but she says, I'm finally feeling like I'm living my life and not someone else's. The silver lining wasn't the job loss, it was the space it created, the silence it offered, the invitation it held to remember who she really was and what she really loved. Silver linings don't erase the storm. They accompany it. They emerge from it. They say, there's still light here, look again. And you know what's interesting? Sometimes we don't want to hear about silver linings, not right away anyway, but that's okay. When grief is fresh or pain is raw, silver linings can feel like dismal, They can feel saddening, like we're being told to get over it and be grateful. But a true silver lining is never forced. It waits, it whispers, and it shows up when we're ready. And sometimes the real silver lining is this. We learn to sit with discomfort. We build endurance. We discover that pain is a portal, not a prison. We stop asking, why did this happen to me? Why are these things keep happening? Why are these things bringing me down? And we start asking, what is here to teach me? Why is this happening so that I can learn from it? So how do we actually begin to notice the silver linings in our lives? It's practice. It's a daily shift in focus. And here are a few soulful invitations that I've tried and tested and really want to share with you. 1, reflect backwards. So instead of looking forward or saying, oh, I can't have this or I don't have that, take a moment and think of a time that hurt. And then ask yourself, why did I learn from that experience that I carry with me? Or what did I learn from that experience that I carry with me now? What was that one takeaway that you got from that moment that wasn't so pleasant? When you look at it this way, you will see many things that you may not have when you were in the moment. You will realize that whatever you went through was a learning moment and brought you to this very moment in one way or another. The second one is writing a gratitude in disguise journal. So a journal is a really great way to understand and look back and see where you've grown and the learning that you've made from the moment that you were writing about. So you journal a list of things that seem like setbacks, but actually turned out to be set-ups. A breakup that brought clarity, a move that brought new community, a no that made room for a better yes. Writing the negative that brought the positive will help you see that there is a pattern, and that pattern of awful things or negativity will often and almost always bring you a sense of clarity and positivity. Hold space for others. Sometimes the greatest silver lining is discovering how to hold someone else's pain and discomfort. Because once we've walked through our own shadows, we become safe places for others in the dark. When we find our silver lining, we come from a place of understanding and become a person that others going through the same thing or similar can lean on. The one thing that I will say is to protect your space. You can be the light, but you don't want others to dim that light with their heaviness. I like to use white sage after I've held space and clear my energies so that I can be of service and help those needing to find their thread. Otherwise, I'll get so bogged down that I'll forget to look for my own silver lining. But I guess in the end, my silver lining was that I helped someone through a difficult time, and we are both in a better place. When life feels overwhelming, stop and ask, what else might be true here? What might this moment be making possible? When life throws something unexpected at you, can you find why this might be occurring? It may not be right away, but stay open to the answers that will arise, that aha moment. At its core, a silver lining is not about positivity. It's about perspective. It's the art of noticing, of trusting, of softening into the unknown. Silver linings don't shout, they whisper. They arrive slowly, like light filtering through leaves, like warmth after a long winter. They don't erase the pain, they give it meaning. They remind us that nothing is wasted, not the heartbreak, not the lost, not the waiting. Everything we go through becomes part of the story that shapes who we are becoming. If this episode stirred something in you, I invite you to carry this question into your week. What is the silver lining I haven't seen yet? Sometimes it's not about finding the light, it's about becoming it. Until next time, stay tender, stay curious, and remember, The threads of silver are always there, even behind the darkest clouds.